Hey, John Kavakis here for my take, and I've got something very special today. We're going to take a close look at GLM's spectacular, and I do not use the word lightly, the spectacular La Comtesse and La Comte, the 1954 Chrysler Dream Cars. Now, these were made specifically for Tom Dernberger and for Dale Danifer. They're the only places you'll be able to get them. They're very limited quantities. I'll have all the details on that in just a little bit. But let's talk about Chrysler in the early 50s. By 1953, Chrysler designs, which were very fresh right there at the end of World War II, were 6 years old. Everybody had come out with new designs. They were longer, they were lower, they were wider. That was just the beginning of that trend. But Chrysler was stuck with what some people consider to be fairly stodgy designs. Now, the reason for that is the Chrysler president at the time, a guy named H.T. Keller, had mandated that all designs would be tall enough, the roof lines would be tall enough for a man to wear a hat. Of course, it was proper dress back then, and Keller wanted all of his designs to accommodate men wearing hats. That necessitated a relatively high roofline, and particularly compared to other designs. So, some people considered it stodgy, some people considered it conservative. You know, those Chryslers right there after the war were well made, well received. They sold well, so, you know, it's hard to blame the design for being too wrong. But 6 years is a long time in the design cycle for a car. And with everybody else coming out with new models, Chrysler had to do something. Now, the forward look for Virgil Exner was just on the horizon, would be introduced in 1955, and those cars were absolutely spectacular. Didn't quite have the quality that the previous cars had, but they set design trends. I mean, it was really the beginning of the launch of gigantic fins and that sort of thing. And Exner was certainly an excellent car designer, but they had to sell cars in the 1954 model year, and they had no fresh designs. So Chrysler did what everyone was doing back then. They decided to come out with a couple of show cars, dream cars, you might call them. You know, General Motors had their Motorama, and Ford had the show cars running all over the United States at the time. So they gave Virgil Exner two New Yorker chassis, two 1953 and 1954 New Yorker chassis, and asked him to dress them up and make them into show cars. And boy, he did that in spades. He just made those cars. There was a lot of chrome on them. They had these plexiglass roofs that revealed the entire interior. Now, those were real popular dream car design elements in the 50s. They hadn't yet discovered that those plexiglass roofs didn't handle hot days real well. But it certainly had a dream car look to it. And so he made them in his and hers color schemes. The Le Comte was the male color scheme, and that was a black roof over bronze body. The La Comtesse was the female, the woman's color scheme, and that was in pigeon gray over dusty rose. Now, it looks like white to pink to me, but who am I to criticize somebody's names? The La Comtesse actually turned out to be a forerunner for the 1955 Dodge La Femme, which is a car that was marketed almost exclusively to women. So it was kind of popular. Chrysler had what they thought was a good idea. That model hung around for 3 years before they finally cut it. Certainly wouldn't work in today's politically correct atmosphere. But Dodge was looking ahead. Exner was on a roll, and he applied his magic touch to these 1954 designs. Now, Tom Dernberger and Dale Danifer, I'm going to put their emails up here. You'll see them again before the video's over. Got together and persuaded Stamp GLM to make models of both cars. Now, there are only 75 of each. As far as we can tell, there will be no more made. So if you want one of these cars, and after you're done taking a close look at it, I think you're going to want it, you're going to have to contact them. Now, they sell for $159, a little bit higher than what we've seen from Stamp and GLM, but I think that you will agree with me by the end of the video that they're worth the extra money because these are really incredible models. If you mention my take, you can get them for $150 plus shipping. You can buy 2 of them for $290 plus shipping. Shipping is going to be somewhere around $10, $15 or so. So we're going to get these out of the box and take a look at them. It's a beautiful car. Let's get it on the turntable, take a close look at it. So I don't have to talk too much about the finish. Stamp, GLM, they're just at the top of their game on the finish. The colors are accurately replicated. And I gotta tell you something, there's something to be said for the pigeon gray and the dusty rose, because it's pink, but it's not a bright pink. It's a white roof, but it's not quite white. So I think the color designations are accurate. Let's go around to the front of the car. Take a look at that grille, the badging, the headlights, the hood ornament. Everything is beautifully, accurately replicated. The grille just has a lot of dimension to it. You can see the depth of the radiators behind it. It's just beautiful. The lensing is fantastic. Chrome's beautiful. Go around the side, and I want you to take a close look at these wheels. They are absolutely spectacular. Stamp does such a great job on the wheels. Stamp GLM, it's one of their hallmarks. They do a really good job. All the chrome trim on the car is plated in chrome, and none of it is silver. It's expertly applied. And I gotta be honest with you. You know, when I look at this, I see Exner was able to restrain himself when it came to chrome. They're great chrome accents, but there's not too much of it. Separate door handles, separate lock covers. The mirrors are accurately replicated. The trim around the windows is especially delicate and especially well done. And while I'm talking about the windows, let me just mention that what we would call the glazing on these models is super clear. It looks like glass. We'll get to that transparent roof in just a second. Around back, the Continental kit, very well done. All the badging, super minute, super accurate. The lensing on the taillights is beautiful. It's got the appropriate dual exhaust. Just beautifully done. Trim around the windows again, very well done. And let's take a look in the interior. Now you get the chance to see this plexiglass roof. It is exceptionally clear, and what it reveals is how absolutely amazing the interior is. Take a look at that dash, those gauges, the trim on the dash, the radio, the steering wheel, all 100% accurate. The door panels in two-tone with the handles in the right place and separate inner handles, chrome trim alongside. The seats, very... back in the 50s, I guess this was considered very feminine. If it were the 70s, I'd be thinking psychedelic. But the seat trim is well done. Even the armrests and the rear windows and the little illuminating lights on the C-pillars, they're back there and apparent as well. It's just an absolutely beautiful, absolutely stunning model. Now, you've seen the pictures on Facebook, you've seen the pictures on the forums. Now you've gotten a close look at the model. If you don't have it yet, you can contact Tom Dernberger here. Dale Danifer has them as well. They're working together on this project. Again, if you mention my take, you get it for $250 plus shipping, 2 of them for $290. I recommend the pair. These are going away. Now, everybody remembers probably when Matrix came out with 1/43rd turbine model, Chrysler turbine from 1963, and how a lot of people waited on that, and Matrix was serious about just making a limited number. It's the same thing we got here. If you want something totally unique, if you want something that is a fantastic reminder of what Chrysler was doing in the early 50s and what it could have been in the early 50s, this is the model for you. This is my take on GLM's 1954 Chrysler La Comtesse and the Comte. Thanks for tuning in. Before you go, if you enjoyed the video, would you do me a favor and just click the thumbs up down there in the right-hand corner. It really helps the channel. Love to hear your comments. We've had some really good dialogue lately. And, of course, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. I've got a lot of videos coming. Stay tuned. And, again, thanks for tuning in.